Tonight on News 5 Live, another murder in the Antelope Street area. Belize Hotel Association says it does not support travel insurance plan. And Belize prepares to celebrate George Price Day. Details of these stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Las tradiciones son atemporales, pero mantenerse al día es necesario. DigiWallet me permitirá hacer todas mis compras favoritas. Es fácil y seguro. Solo es agregar dinero a mi DigiWallet y ya puedo irme de compras en mis tiendas locales favoritas. Oye tú, a mi familia le encanta. A mí también. Es nuestra nueva tradición. DigiWallet, próximamente.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Video on demand. Coming soon.
Child Development Foundation, or CDF as we are popularly known, has been partnering with Social Security Board since 2015. Social Security Board supports our child protection initiatives. They support us to build capacity for teachers and parents to identify the indicators of abuse. In particular, they support our counseling center so that we can provide trauma-focused counseling therapy to children who have been abused. Social Security has also supported our prevention program, the Rise Girls program, to help us to equip young women who are in primary and secondary school to understand more about adolescent development and also to build good self-esteem and to build safe social networks.
Over the past 6 years, we have established a partnership with the Social Security Board. It has assisted us in addressing some of their social welfare needs and health care needs of our older persons, specifically in Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. We have had the opportunity to do home visits with our geriatrician and physiotherapists. We distribute meals to them. We also have that opportunity to interact with them, to observe them. There are needs that may be identified. If we can address those, we do so.
Social Security has been one of our biggest donors throughout the years, and the services that they provide to us is basically financial, and it helps with a lot of things here at the center, like bills and groceries. The center is a drop-in center for the mentally ill, elderly, homeless, deportees. They come here, they take a shower, they get their breakfast, they get their lunch, and they also do recreational stuff here at the center. They can watch television, they listen to music, they play games, and they just, interact with each other, because here it's like a family.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, January 14th. I am Sabrina Daly. Another murder was recorded in Belize City on Thursday night, the second since the start of the new year. A welder who resides on Antelope Street Extension was shot and killed at home, and a male miner who was along with him was critically injured. A criminal investigation is underway to determine whether the shooting was motivated by gang activity within the area. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
A 25-year-old resident of Antelope Street Extension lost his life on Thursday night when a lone gunman stormed the lower flat of a two-story building and opened fire on two individuals. Dorian Zach and a male miner were downstairs when they were blindsided. The welder expired at the Carl Houston Memorial Hospital shortly after the deadly shooting. The 14-year-old teenager is in critical condition.
The police went on the scene, but Mr. Zach was already transported to KHMH for treatment. The incident occurred sometime around 8:20, and he succumbed about 5 or 10 minutes later. The 14-year-old that was with him is still listed in the critical condition, the male minor. Police initial investigation have revealed so far that they were in a room at the lower flat of the house on Antelope Street Extension, pardon. Excuse me, when a lone gunman entered the yard, opened that door to the room, opened fire on both of them, fatally injuring Mr. Zach and causing the injuries to the minor.
It is unclear what precipitated the assault on the pair. What is known, however, is that the neighborhood where the incident occurred is a known hotspot in Belize City.
Police were on mobile patrol not too far from this area, where upon proceeding to that scene, they saw a male threw what appeared to be a firearm in a bush lot. This person was immediately apprehended, taken back to the area where they saw him throw the object, and he's now in custody with that firearm, and we believe that charges should be levied in the not too far future against this person.
According to Communications Director Fitzroy Yearwood, investigators are leaving no stones unturned in this latest homicide case. Notwithstanding the gang-ridden location where the shooting transpired, Zach is described as a self-employed individual who worked from his home.
We are not ruling out anything, but like, I don't know if I mentioned, Mr. Zach was a welder, a gainfully employed person. So for us to just say directly it's a gang-affiliated shooting, it wouldn't be fair, because like I said, he was not one of those that we would say was idling. He had a job, and actually he does his welding right from his home.
As for the teenager, it is believed that he was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time and is a victim of circumstance.
We believe that he was just visiting and wrong place at the wrong time, sorry. We are hoping that for the best for him, that he recovers. I mean, if you're critical and you surpass a certain amount of hours, more than likely you would improve. But like I said, we wouldn't want to be presumptuous. So we are just praying that he makes it, and hopefully then we could answer the rest of your questions.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
On Thursday, the BTB announced a new travel insurance requirement for visitors. Some confusion erupted on social media, but to clarify, the mandate applies only to visitors coming into Belize through the land borders and the airport. It will not apply to Belizean nationals, permanent residents, travelers with QRP or long-stay status, and flight crews. It also does not apply to cruise ship visitors. This sector continues to be hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. There have been 13 cruise ship cancellations to Belize. But BTB Chairman Evan Tillett told News 5 that the cancellations are not anywhere close to what we saw at the onset of the pandemic.
There have been about 12 cancellations, and which will happen between now and March that we are aware of in terms of cruise ships. In terms of the overnight sector, there are cancellations, but it's not those mass cancellations that we see at the beginning of the pandemic. But what we're also seeing is that even though you have cancellations, you have new people rebooking, and that's a positive sign for the industry. The cruise ship industry is one of those industries that's the most tested industry, and trust me, after being not being able to work for so long, the industry is very vigilant to make sure that they are not put in a position again where they have to have a no-sale situation. And so they have a very rigid testing system, and hence why they pick up a lot of the positive cases, which is a good thing. And once they pick that up, then it's put in a controlled environment.
The Belize Hotel Association has expressed its concerns, in which it says its members have over the mandatory insurance coverage implemented by the Belize Tourism Board for visitors to Belize. The BTB announced on Thursday that effective February 15, 2022, all visitors to Belize are required to apply for a mandatory Belize travel health insurance to help protect them against incurred medical and non-medical expenses if they test positive for COVID-19 during their stay in Belize. But the BHA says while insurance is a good idea, its members had three main concerns. One is that insurance is already easily available to tourists, so mandating a specific company to provide it is unnecessary. Two, they say the $18 fee will make Belize a more expensive and less attractive destination. And third, the association said it needs more details on how the process will work. BHA points out that it is pleased with the component of the mandate that allows for hotel compensation for guests who test positive for COVID-19 and need to extend their stay. But it says that the reason given for the implementation, to protect our local health system, is not satisfactory. The BHA states that there isn't enough evidence to support this reasoning, since the health system being overwhelmed was never caused by tourists overcrowding the hospitals. Also, it says it has not seen any specific examples of guests that had not been able to meet their medical expenses during their stay. Coming up, News 5 has more on COVID cases among children. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, give everyone what you owe him. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt of love for one another. Several years ago, the president of a bank, who was a faithful member of the church that I served as pastor, looked across his desk and asked, Bob, do you know who the three poorest credit risks are? I quickly answered, no, sir. He replied, preachers, policemen, and politicians. To me, that was such an indictment against community leaders who should be setting the standard for others. That day I resolved in my heart that by the grace of God, I would do my part in changing those statistics. I can honestly tell you that my wife and I have reared 4 children, and not once while they were growing up did they ever have one person to knock on our door or to call by telephone seeking to collect for an overdue debt that was carelessly neglected. The Bible has much to say about paying our honest debts. The Bible teaches us to pay every debt we owe, whether to God, the government, or the general store. There is only one debt that is allowed to remain outstanding. It is the debt of love, that we are forever indebted to each other. If we love God, our country, and our Christian witness, we will pay our debts. The Bible says the wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously, as preachers, policemen, and politicians should exemplify.
Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
From all of us at Digi, our national telecom, thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you for your confidence and loyalty this year.
Thank you for allowing us to serve you during these extraordinary circumstances.
Thank you for your partnership and allowing us to deliver our promise of transformative technology and high-quality products.
Thank you for contributing to our national telecom's strong financial results.
Thank you for help keeping us safe while serving you.
Thank you for inspiring us to achieve innovative development in the last 12 months, and we're just getting started.
Our achievements were made possible this year, thanks to your trust in our national telecom.
We've worked very hard to keep you at the center of everything that we do, and there's still more that can be done. But with our commitment to our core values of customer focus, Digi, our national telecom, will continue to deliver. On behalf of the Board of Directors, management, and staff, we thank you for the trust you have placed in us, and we look forward to serving you in 2022.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2022 from your friends and family at Digi, our national telecom.
I visited the land of Serbia, a great many miles away. I ascended the Mount Everest few people have conquered. I roared on the snow-covered Antarctic and Arctic. I rolled swiftly across the vast, untamed desert. Linglong Tire conquers every corner of the world.
Distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited, 2 miles Philip Golson Highway, Belize City.
On Thursday, News 5's COVID Chronicles looked at pediatric COVID cases and the impact of the virus on families. Tonight, Dwayne Moody digs even deeper, looking at the painful reality that there have been 2 children who did not make it, and how the death of the first child in October of 2020 caused a damage in hospital policy at the KHMH. And while this story has its sad moments, we can be comforted by the realization that the vast majority of children who do get COVID in Belize recover and return to their normal lives.
It has been interesting for us in the pediatric field at KHMH because since this pandemic started, our numbers weren't high. So we had 1 or 2 cases that used to come in during the week with just fever or someone that has had contact with a COVID positive patient, and they were swabbed and then they were sent home. And it was good for us because that meant that our kids were safe, but they were at home.
But unfortunately, the spread of several variants with higher transmissibility rates has translated into a sharp increase in pediatric COVID cases. At the KHMH COVID unit, up to 8 children, primarily between 28 days and 5 years old, have been accessing the facility. Majority admissions of patients with respiratory illness.
Been admitted because of pneumonia, and that has been our chief complaint. Pneumonia or primary diagnosis, pneumonia secondary to COVID. Sometimes we have at the PUI COVID unit 8 patients, 5 patients just at the COVID unit admitted for evaluation, for observation, for pending results, but that was something uncommon for us.
The first child to die from COVID-19 complications in Belize was 6-year-old Arturo Godoy Jr., which occurred back on October 24th, 2020. The infant, one student from Orange Walk, had an underlying condition. He had been battling with kidney disease for 2 years, but his COVID-19 status was not readily determined, and after being transported from the Northern Regional Hospital to the KHMH, he died within 4 days, alone and no relative in sight.
They can tell me, you need to move right here,
Because we are carrying the baby for next isolation room. But my baby is 6 years old. I tell her, he cried for me. I can't leave my baby right here. Well, we can't do much better, he tell me. Your baby, I tell him, miss, if my baby positive, I am positive. And I am willing to go in there, mind him. You can't, if you go, you will go with the adult. You still can't see him. I tell him, but I want to be with him. Yeah, that's all what I want. I want to be with him. Told me, you can't do that. 10 o'clock in the night, they're calling me. My baby passed away. I tell him, Mom, how my baby passed away? He said that his little heart started to beat fast, and then he wanted to put the ventilator, and blood started to come out, and it come out from his eye, his nose, and he passed away. If I was there, seeing my son, if he knew I was there, I know my baby will still be up, right? Because he know I am right there, right? Because if I wasn't there, but if somebody was right there talking to him, telling him, because he's a little baby, you understand? He will know, yes, they're seeing me, yes, I'm not by myself. But if you left a little baby in a room, although he doesn't got nothing, but if you left a baby in a room by himself, how do you think he will feel? If I put you in a room, you're big, if I put you in a room by yourself, 3 days, 2 days, with nobody to see you, how you feel? Huh? That killed my baby, the depression, nobody want me, nobody see me.
The tragic case sparked outrage and change. Since little Arturo Godoy's death, there has been a policy change, and one parent is allowed to accompany a pediatric COVID patient. In fact, this is considered crucial to their care.
Yeah, now they are allowed to stay inside the room with their kids. Any patient, any pediatric patient that is admitted in the COVID unit or PUI COVID unit, they should have a parent. A parent should be able to stay with their kids if they need anything, or they want to be with them, no problem, they can stay with their kids.
While News 5 has not reported any pediatric casualties since then, the acting head of the pediatric unit at the KHMH, Dr. Maxwell Shiloh, says that there were 2 other extreme cases at the institution in 2021. Unfortunately, an 11-year-old boy from the West did not survive.
I believe it was in March. We had a patient that died. He was 11 years old, and unfortunately, he was a patient with severe COVID symptoms, and he died due to a pulmonary embolism, which is basically a complication due to COVID. He began to create blood clots, and that clot went up to his lung, and there wasn't much we could do with him.
Any other severe cases have come since then?
Yes, we've had, well, I wouldn't qualify them as severe, but moderate cases with pneumonia. Most of them are pneumonia. They stay at the ward for 3 to 5 days, and they have been good responses. We managed to send all of them home. It's just those only 2 cases that I remember seeing a negative or a fatal response or ending.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness received a pair of Gene Expert machines and 631 COVID testing kits earlier today from the United Nations Development Program. This in collaboration with the National AIDS Commission under the framework of the Global Fund project titled Building Resilience Through Innovation and National Accountability for the HIV and Tuberculosis Response in Belize. Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard was on hand to receive the donation.
Let me express my sincere appreciation and congratulations to the Government of Belize and the Ministry of Health for the Herculean efforts demonstrated thus far in the management of Belize's COVID response. Please accept UNDP's commitment for continued collaboration. I recognize the Global Fund, who for the past 10 years had entrusted UNDP as principal recipient of their grants and have invested to date more than $16 million into the country. As UNDP transitions away from our role of principal recipient to an empowered national health insurance, please be assured that UNDP will continue to provide the necessary technical and logistical support whenever required.
This equipment will definitely help with all our efforts for decentralization, and we look forward to expanding the access to health services for the Belizean people from north to south.
The people and government of Belize continue to enjoy this partnership with UNDP as it continues to support the growth of Belize in various aspects, and today's activity is just another declaration of its commitment to the growth of our resilient country towards a healthy Belize. The fight to defeat COVID continues to require the collaboration of all our national, regional, and international partners. I hereby reaffirm the commitment of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Government of Belize to protect our people from the COVID-19 virus and any other disease that may threaten their well-being. We remain steadfast in our goals with the provision of equitable, accessible, and affordable health care for all.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has a new Chief Executive Officer. He is Dr. Julio Sabido. His name had come up before the few vacant posts, but the confirmation came today. The new health CEO is on sick leave, however, reportedly with COVID-19. Dr. Sabido has a master's degree in public health nutrition, a master's degree in public health and medical degree in the field of general medicine. The new CEO and new Minister of Health and Wellness will be guests on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes morning show on Monday. After the break, getting ready to celebrate the father of the nation. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
The best mobile experience in Belize? You don't know? Well, the truth is, Digi, our national telecom, of course. Digi has the largest mobile LTE advanced network with over 96% countrywide coverage, offering the fastest mobile LTE data speeds at the most affordable rates with mobile plans that fit your lifestyle. The truth is, only Digi gives the ultimate mobile LTE experience. Visit your nearest Digi store to join the bigger, better network today. Digi, our national telecom. Visit us online at www.livedigi.com.
New Year's is a time for us to make hearty resolutions that will help us better our lives, and then promptly forget about them. However, there are some resolutions we shouldn't forget about. Join us for our new series, 100%, where we'll be talking about being 100% in on things like our relationship with God, our spouses, finances, and more. Tune in at 10 a.m. right here on Channel 5 Belize.
The BWS app is here and is available for download from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. BWS customers can use the app to view water usage and current bill, read your own meter, apply for new residential and commercial connections, apply for reconnection, make reports, contact BWS customer service, and much more. Download the BWS app today.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
The Royal Group of companies, of which Madagascar is a part, believes in paying its fair share of taxes to support the economy and the government of Belize, which shows that we are good corporate citizens. It also makes good business sense because it saves us time and money. Our messenger is extremely happy as well because previously he had to stand in long lines that extended as far as the tax department gate, and now with this online filing he no longer has to do this. Our employees are so happy to register individually, and at the end of the year they can check and see what they have paid, and then when it's time to file they can actually compare it with the tax department and get a fast response from the tax department. By us signing up and our individuals also signing up, it shows that we are good corporate citizens and we're doing the right thing for Belize.
Iris Belize, effortless, easy and efficient electronic tax services for everyone.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
The National Institute of Culture and History is planning two main activities at the House of Culture, formerly the Government House, in connection with the birthday of Belize's first Prime Minister and national hero, the late George Price. Marian Ali has a report on what the Institute is doing to commemorate the day.
The exhibition, titled George Price, The Man versus the Politician, reveals the personal side of the man, the politician, who led Belize into independence back in 1981. Senior Program Officer at NICH, Kim Vasquez, says that perhaps everyone living today in Belize has heard his name, but not everyone knows who George Price was, and encompassed with that are images of this icon that have never been seen before.
There are some sides to him that were not readily visible. And some of them include in even the lighter side of who he was as a person. Things that we need to, we can better appreciate now. For example, he loved music. He loved to read. He liked to write poetry. He would do things that definitely you won't see being done today. He would wade in creeks and water up to his waist to get to rural areas, to get that message of independence out to the people.
Accompanying the exhibition is a new video as a part of a documentary series entitled Appointment with History, Lessons from the Father of the Nation, that NICH embarked on last year.
Every episode highlights a lesson that we can take from his life. And what you were asking me there about him surviving the 1931 hurricane, it would underscore that lesson of perseverance. We call that, that's one of the episodes that we want to develop, because there were several instances. He was arrested and charged for sedition, which carried a severe penalty. The maximum, I think, was 20 years in prison, and he had to face that down. So there were several low points. There were rifts that he faced within the party. But he never wavered.
Vasquez says these educational efforts are made to preserve the legacy of who Belize's national hero was.
It's important for children, youth, and indeed the wider population to understand that who he was, the man, his character, his principles, his vision, is really what shaped the leader, is really what shaped him as the father of the nation. So you cannot separate one from the other.
The exhibition opens on Saturday at the House of Culture in Belize City and will be open to the public. Vasquez says that similar activities are being held in other districts on the late George Price. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Vasquez extends gratitude to the Craig and Price families who helped with the information and many of the images that will be shared at the exhibition. The pictures shared in this story were also provided by the family. He is called the father of the nation for taking Belize from a British colony to an independent country. Since his death in 2013, the People's United Party has been actively promoting his legacy. In fact, the Briceño administration has declared January 15th, George Price's birthday, to be a public and bank holiday. Today, in honor of that occasion, Prime Minister John Briceño encouraged everyone to emulate Mr. Price's efforts to build the nation.
No other political leader has had a greater impact and influence on our identity and sense of being Belizean than George Price. Said Musa, our former Prime Minister, wrote about Mr. Price, saying that to think of George Price is to think of Belize. His life, beliefs, and values have been the guiding light in the destiny of Belize, taking it from a once backward colony of Britain to a young, dynamic, sovereign, democratic Central American state in the Caribbean region. I agree with Said Musa. Today in Belize, many of our citizens are below the age of 20. So it is important that we continue to build on our respect for our national hero. His humility, dedication, insightfulness, and patriotism must thunder across this land. In doing so, we acknowledge the 1981 generation of Belizeans who are determined to see an independent Belize, despite enormous international, geopolitical obstacles and territorial threats. On this George Price Day, let us continue to focus on our task of nation building so that together we can turn Belize into a socially and economically vibrant modern nation. Let us be bold and determined in the spirit of Mr. Price. Let us unite and get on with the task of nation building. Happy George Price Day.
Just ahead, future medical professionals get scholarships to Cuba. But first, here is a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos. Y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Connecting people. Creating memories.
So here we are at the Glaze Out Kitchen. I just prepared this amazing broccoli.
Sharing a smile. NextGen, the ultimate digital experience.
On Thursday, the government of Cuba awarded medical scholarships to 13 Belizean students. According to the Ministry of Education, 10 will be majoring in medicine, 2 in nursing, and 1 in psychology. The annual Cuba-Belize Scholarship Program awards young Belizeans who are interested in pursuing careers in the medical field. During a brief ceremony this week, the recipients were asked to be resolute in their studies despite challenges and to commit to building small communities, countries like Belize.
When we think of Cuba's commitment to this scholarship program, we realize that the Cuban gifts to our nation really go past the gift of possessions. Cuba gives of herself in the sustained dedication to the Belizean students who travel there in search of higher education.
The Cuban government gives priority to the training of human resources, who are the foundation for the development of a country. And that is why, since the triumph of the Cuban Revolution, one of the goals set by the revolutionary government was access to the free education and the continuous improvement of educational institutions. I want to tell you that in Cuba, you will have the opportunity to know a friendly people who will receive all of you with love and friendship. You will also have the opportunity to know students for our region and other continents as a sign of the solidarity that must prevail among all our nations for the benefit of our peoples.
I say this to all students who travel representing Belize. You're an ambassador of Belize. Each and every one of you is an ambassador of Belize when you're out there. What you do out there, what you do in Cuba, reflects on you, it reflects on your family, and it reflects on the people of Belize. It's a beautiful opportunity. It's an honor to get this scholarship. Many, many people try, and you are the chosen ones this year. So take full advantage of this opportunity. Make the most of it. Make yourself proud, make your families proud, and make Belize proud.
Since the scholarship program was established, over 200 Belizean students have had the opportunity to study in Cuba. This year, Belize and Cuba celebrate 27 years of bilateral relations and cooperation. The 48th meeting of the Caribbean Community Council of Ministers convened virtually today under the chairmanship of Minister of Foreign Affairs Eamon Courtney. Key issues discussed were the plan of action for CSME implementation and the continued reform of the CARICOM Secretariat. Ministers recognized the need for greater collaboration with public and private partners in addressing the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on global production and the surge in freight rates and the consequent effects on consumers and businesses alike. The Council noted the continued deteriorating political, security, and humanitarian situation in Haiti and renewed the community's willingness to assist Haiti with a view to restoring a sense of safety and security to the country. Ambassador Amalia Mai, Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, updated the Council on the preparations for the 33rd Intersessional Meeting of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. This meeting is scheduled to be held in the island town of San Pedro from February 28 to March 1, 2022. CEO Mai also briefed the meeting on the preparations for the 4th CARICOM SICA Summit to be held on March 2, 2022. U.S. Southern Command's Joint Task Force Bravo today concluded a 6-day medical outreach program in the Toledo District in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The joint medical teams provided preventative and primary care, dental and pharmacy services in the Jalacte and San Pedro Colombia villages to almost 800 area residents. Over the years, U.S. military personnel have executed more than 300 medical missions and treated thousands of medical and dental patients throughout Central America. Approximately 150 U.S. service members are participating in the Kill Bill Toucan exercise between January 7th and 21st in Belize. This morning, ground was broken for the start of rehabilitation works for the Libertad and Concepcion rural water system in the Corozal district. According to the Ministry of Rural Development, the project has two parts: the expansion of the existing water systems and the addition of 800 more connections for homes, schools, and churches. The project is being executed by the Social Investment Fund with financing of over $1 million Belize dollars in financing from the Caribbean Development Bank. When completed, it will provide improved water services for better sanitation and hygiene for residents in Libertad and Concepcion. ECI Development is investing $52 million in a Marriott-branded hotel on the island of San Pedro. The hotel will boast over 200 rooms. Some 40% of those rooms will be up for sale to private owners for a hefty price tag. But the company says part of the true value of this hotel will be the economic and training opportunities it will bring to the island and its residents. After 4 years of planning, with some bumps along the way, this morning, CEO Mike Cobb and co-founder Joel Negal finally broke ground for the Marriott Residence Ambergris Caye Belize location. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
It might look like just a beach at this point, but this location on the island of San Pedro is set to become a prime beachfront Marriott vacation stay.
So room rates will run anywhere from about $250 in the low season to about $450 in the high season for, you know, a typical hotel room, 1-bedroom kind of residence, right? Obviously, we'll have 3-bedroom presidential suites. I have no idea how much that's going to go for, right? But we're going to have 3 food and beverage outlets. We're going to have a giant conference space. And that's actually really important, too, because now all of a sudden, so I was just speaking at the Live and Invest conference over in Belize City. It was held at the Biltmore, right, over there. And the reason there aren't a lot of conferences on the island is there's no big conference space. And so we're going to create a conference space that will seat about 250 theater seating, right? About 150 in a 10-top dining. So we'll be able to host big events, big conferences here on the island.
The soon-to-be 5-story hotel investment Marriott Residence Ambergris Caye Belize was first launched back in 2018 as the first branded hotel on the island and the only of its kind. But, as co-founder Joel Negal explained, things did not quite happen as planned.
We signed our franchise agreement with Marriott International Hotel to become Belize's first hard brand Marriott hotel almost 5 years ago. We planned to be under construction by early 2020. But as you all know, COVID-19 had other plans for us. Our initial lenders got cold feet about lending for a new hotel project during a global pandemic, and they asked us to, quote unquote, pause for a little while until we knew when the pandemic would be over. I think people are still trying to answer that question. We were determined to push forward, nevertheless, pursuing dozens of options with many regional, international lenders in the US, Canada, Europe, and even as far as Singapore simultaneously. In the end, necessity was truly the motivation, and we found the right lenders and the right legal structure to protect the lenders' interests and everyone involved.
And for CEO Mike Cobb, being first doesn't matter as much as expanding the Marriott brand in Belize.
First, second, third, 53rd, you know, it doesn't matter, right? Because this market is big enough for 50 players like us, right? Whether it's 10 Marriotts and 10 Hiltons and 10 Hyatts, I don't know, whatever, that's 30. But you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter. This market is big enough for everybody. And the thing that we have to remember is that one hotel does not create a destination. 5 hotels, yeah, maybe you're starting to become a destination. 10 hotels, 15 hotels, 20 hotels, now you're a destination.
When Cobb took the podium at the official ceremony, he spoke about the power of the Marriott brand.
One of the things about Marriott, it's not just good, it's excellent. The Marriott Corporation has been around for 100 years as a professional hotel operator. They understand how to train. And of all the gifts that are coming to this country, right? I mean, the employment is a big one, right? Lots of jobs, lots of hotel taxes, lots of exposure, right? And the other thing about, people are going to look at this and they're going to say, wow, there's a Marriott there. But you know what? I'm not really a Marriott person. I want to stay in a different hotel. I want to stay in a property, right? It pulls. The brand of Marriott is powerful because it pulls people's attention to a destination. And that's this island, that's this country of Belize.
Minister Henry Charles Usher, representing the government of Belize, spoke at the event about the desirability of Belize as a destination to international brands like the Marriott.
It's not only about coming here and breaking ground and seeing this project take off. It's about realizing that this group, Joel, Mike, the group of construction members from Mexico, the entire Marriott brand, everybody involved with this project, they are sending a signal to the world that come to Belize. This is where you need to be. Maybe it sounds like a little thing, but it isn't. Because when you see Marriott come in and Marriott develop their hotel and their residences, then you'll see another brand follow suit. You'll see more brands follow. And that's what we want to achieve.
Initially, the construction phase of the project will create jobs for the residents on the island. The San Pedro City Council says the brand is welcomed by residents.
I think in the whole country, our people many have been without a job up to today. Some of them completely lost their jobs and just going around finding each day what they can do so that they can bring food to their homes. We have some of our people that are still at 50% wage, working only half time. And I know that this
Up next, there is more news after the break. Don't go away.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this Smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, Belize! Vaccination saves lives.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
In an update to the ongoing saga of the struggle for control over the Corzall Cane Farmers Association, one farmer says they are now taking the matter to the Attorney General's office. The leadership dispute has been waging for weeks now, with 2 men, namely Vladimir Puck and Everaldo Uch, both claiming the chairmanship. The main point of contention has to do with OOC's expulsion from the association in 2019 and whether it was legal. PUC and his board of directors argue that it was, but OOC is challenging the legitimacy of the 2019 bylaw in favor of a 2015 association bylaw. It is an important development because if successful, it could not only legitimize his membership, but also his position as the newly elected chairman of the association.
My expulsion was irrelevant, was unconstitutional because the correct procedures that the 2015 bylaws have in right as the original bylaw, it provides for an amendment to happen for the bylaw, but the procedures were not followed. The proper procedures were not followed. Well, immediately after my expulsion, I believe that these people were expecting me to immediately apply to be part of another association. But I decided to move to the legal system, in that because I knew that it was unconstitutional, so I had to challenge this purported amendment to the Supreme Court. This was in 2020, immediately after the meeting of 2019, December 2019. And but the case is taking a bit long, no? You see, today we're in 2022, and the case has not entered conclusion as yet. So, and this is the fact now. If that purported amendment is being challenged at the Supreme Court, how is it that these people have been using it for the past 2 years? And it has not been determined by the Supreme Court whether if it's legal or illegal.
On Wednesday, you heard Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner speaking about a delay in a proposed parking meter project, which has been met with resistance by area reps in the Old Capital. Among these persons is Fort George Area Representative Henry Charles Usher. He is, however, supportive of the Green Fund initiative that would help with the perennial garbage woes of City Hall.
The amendment has to come in with parking meters themselves, as to whether, because we don't have laws dealing with parking meters, but to actually start that process, I think it's just an approval that had to come in. I can't say I support the thing. I know that the city council is seeing a decline in revenue, and they're trying their best to have the services, the work done by the council continue. But at this time, I'm not sure if that's, I'm not sure what revenue that will even generate. We have to look at unique ways. I was glad to hear the mayor speak about a green fund. I think that's very important, a fund that would be dedicated to cleaning and planting trees and chopping overgrown yards and stuff like that, picking up the garbage and so on. I think that's an important development. It will be the first in this region to have a green fund for a municipality dedicated to the environment. So I hope that we can flesh that out a little bit more, and certainly I would support that initiative.
There were big winners this week with Quartz and Tropigas. The tickets of customers who participated in raffles between October and December of 2021 were shuffled. Earlier this week, Jose Avalos from Belize City drove off with a 2022 cute car, a line within Quartz Automotive Department. A woman from Belmopan also won a motorcycle. Today, News 5 spoke to PR and Digital Marketing Officer Tristan Coleman of Unicomer about the giveaways.
It was the most anticipated giveaway right here at Quartz. I mean, we have done giveaways before, but this time for 2022, we had the introduction to the automotive department. And these cute cars are relatively new to the Quartz brand. We picked our winner. Beginning of January, we picked our winner, and we wanted to make it special. We wanted to give them a surprise, rather than just calling them and say you want a car. So what we did is we called the customer once we selected them with a JP present, and we told them they want a gift certificate. So they thought they were coming in for $100 gift certificate for the brand. And when they came in, we told them, well, come and stand up right in front of the car just for promotional purposes. And when we were there, they opened the envelope thinking they take out a certificate, but actually it was the keys to their car. It was such a great experience, and you see their face, they're like, why is these keys here? Well, you just won the car, you just won a motorcycle. So it was a really, really good experience, and it was a way for us to build excitement with our customers who have been shopping for us for a long time.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.